Hi kids, welcome back to our channel on the Catechism for Kids series. Back with me again, Joseph, your host and catechist. In the previous video, we have covered about fasting. Have you ever heard that Catholics don't eat meat on Fridays in Lent? That's called abstinence. Do you remember the first time you gave something up for Lent? Maybe you were in second grade and your teacher asked you to pick a food. You liked and you decided to give it up for the whole 40 days of Lent. But then after a few days, maybe even just one day, you went back to eating it again. Giving things up isn't easy, but it can help us become closer to God. The grown-ups call this Lenten sacrifice or penance. And when we give up food, we call it abstinence. Today we're going to talk about what abstinence is, why Catholics practice it, and how you can do it too. Remember, abstinence is not the same as fasting. Fasting means eating less food or fewer meals. Abstinence means not eating certain foods, like meat. You might be doing both abstinence and fasting at the same time, but they aren't exactly the same thing. Let's look at a few questions about abstinence. So when do Catholics practice abstinence? Well, especially on Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, and all Fridays during Lent. We eat only fish or vegetarian food on those days. This helps us remember Jesus' sacrifice on the cross, and it teaches us self-control, prayer, and love for God. Abstinence during Lent is the practice of refraining from eating meat as a form of penance and spiritual discipline. This tradition helps Catholics grow in self-control, detach from material comforts, and unite their sacrifices with Christ's suffering, who is not allowed to eat meat during Lent. Catholics age 14 and older are required to abstain from eating meat on Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, and all Fridays during Lent. This includes meat from land animals such as beef, pork, lamb, chicken, and other poultry. Is fish allowed during Lent? Fish and other seafood are allowed and are often a staple for many Catholics on days of abstinence. Other non-meat products like eggs, dairy, vegetables, fruits, and grains are also fine to eat. Why can't we eat meat during Lent? Abstinence from meat is a form of penance. Honoring Christ's sacrifice on the cross. Traditionally, meat was considered a luxury, and giving it up symbolizes a spiritual detachment from worldly indulgences. However, there is an exemption. If you have a health condition, are pregnant, nursing, or cannot follow the abstinence rule for legitimate reasons, you are exempt. In such cases, other acts of charity, penance, or prayer can be undertaken instead. Abstinence is different than fasting. When we fast, we're eating less or taking smaller portions of food. When we abstain, we're not eating certain foods. For example, some people abstain from eating meat on Fridays during Lent. Meatless Fridays remind us that Jesus gave his body and his blood for us on the cross. By giving up meat, we remember Jesus' sacrifice and show how much we love him. Eating fish on Fridays in Lent is an old Catholic tradition that goes back many, many years. Do you know why only fish? Well, many Christians believe that since meat was a luxury and hard to get in those days, only the poor and fishermen had fish to eat. So if you only ate fish, everyone knew that you were a Christian. But nowadays, we have plenty of food and we can buy fish anytime. So we don't have to eat only fish on Fridays in Lent. We can also eat vegetarian food like beans, eggs, nuts, fruit, and veggies. So abstinence is a way to show that we love Jesus by giving up the foods that we really want to eat. Here's a fun fact for you. The McDonald's Filet-O-Fish was created by Lou Groen, a McDonald's franchise owner in Cincinnati, Ohio, in 1962, due to declining hamburger sales on Fridays caused by the Catholic practice of abstaining from meat. Groen, a Catholic himself, needed a meatless alternative for his predominantly Catholic clientele, and his Filet-O-Fish was a success, eventually becoming the first non-hamburger item added to the national McDonald's menu. At first, Groen's idea was met with some resistance from McDonald's founder Ray Kroc, but Kroc agreed to test it against his own meatless hula burger, a slice of pineapple and cheese on a bun. The Filet-O-Fish proved to be far more popular than the hula burger, outselling it significantly and securing its place on the menu. The Filet-O-Fish became the first non-hamburger item on the national McDonald's menu, introduced in 1965, and remains a permanent fixture to this day. It's very important to remember that God doesn't need our food. He already has everything he needs. Instead, when we give up yummy food, we can use that time to spend more time with God through prayer. That's a good thing, right? Spend more time with God? Maybe you think abstinence is only for adults, but kids can practice abstinence too. When you give up something that you really enjoy, it can help you grow closer to God, and it can also help you control yourself and resist temptation. It helps you choose what's right instead of what you want. When you choose holiness, you are becoming a saint. The word sacrifice comes from the Latin word sacer, which means sacred or holy. So when you make a sacrifice, you're making something holy. And when you choose holiness, you are becoming a saint. Every time you choose holiness over sin, you are becoming a saint. Every time you say no to sin, you are choosing to be holy. Sin may seem fun at first, but in the end, it only hurts you and it separates you from God. Holiness, on the other hand, may seem difficult at first, but in the end, it makes you happy and it brings you closer to God. So what should you give up for Lent? Maybe you could give up candy or soda, or maybe your favorite TV show, or playing video games. If you're still not sure, here's a little prayer to help you decide. Dear God, help me give up whatever I choose for Lent. Help me be brave and resist temptation. Help me put you first in my life. Amen. Well, that's it for today's lesson. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. You can also consider to support us by becoming a member. Leave a comment below and tell us what you're giving up for Lent. And remember, you are awesome. See you next time, and God bless you always.